Hello students, as we had the discussion of Joan of Arc, we will be continuing it for the BA third sem basic English students. So in the last period we had a discussion of Joan of Arc and her ideas. Today we will be just continuing to the next idea. So, Joan carried out her normal work in the village and helped her parents. As much as she could, she went to the church regularly and every day she went to the fields to pray. You can see she was working normally like a farmer girl. She used to help the parents. She told her parents about the vision and the heavenly voices, and at first they did not believe her. As Joan of Arc was continuously seeing the visions of the angels, she told her parents that she is seeing the visions. But the parents also did not believe. But one day, when Joan was on her knees in the woods, she used to pray in the woods and she was on her knees. Deep in the meditation, she was meditating. She was praying to the God. An angel appeared before her. Joan looked up in astonishment at the shining figure in the sky. And then the angel spoke. Here you are seeing that she used to visit the wood. There she was kneeling down and praying. And the angel spoke to her. She told, "Arise, brave maid. Your time has come at last. Say goodbye to your parents and go to the King Charles of France. Tell him that you will lead his army, that you will rescue France from the enemies, that you will drive out the English from the land you love so well." You can see this was the great message given by the angel. She told, leave the parents, go to King Charles, support him and try to make him the king of the France. Save the country, save the France. Joan trembled with fear because she was just a simple girl without the knowledge of the battle. How can I accomplish such great deeds? Deed means work. She is asking question to the angel and saying this. She asked the angel, I am but a girl of 17. I am not a man. How can I ride at the head of an army? She is asking question to an angel and saying that how a small girl of 17 will save the nation. And she is not a man, she says, and she is just a girl. Or talk to King Charles. It was impossible to meet the higher authority then, as she was a simple peasant girl. And it was really difficult to be a soldier and to lead the army and to make Charles the king. Or talk to King Charles. Or drive the English out of France. So she had been given a greater task by the angels that she had told Joan of Arc to make Charles the king and drive the English out of France. Who will listen to me or believe that my instructions come from the heaven? She was so much confused. She knew that nobody is going to believe because even her parents were not ready to believe her. So now if she just goes and tells that the people should believe her, she is confused whether they are going to believe her or not. The angel spoke again. Fear not, fair maid, have faith in God. Be brave and be strong. The saints will be at your side in your difficult task. Task means the given work. If you have faith in God, you can conquer the whole world. Rise now and go. Your work starts today. But the angel spoke and asked her to have faith in her and to handle the difficult task. She said the God is always with her to help her, and she must start the work the particular day. So John was given this holy task by God, and being strong and brave with firm belief in God, she started to work in earnest. At first, people laughed at her. Even her parents, friends of the family said she was insane. But at last, she persuaded her father to go to the nearest French military governor, the Sir de Boudicourt. So you can see the picture of the parents here. Isabella Romi. Isabella Romi is also known as Isabella de Martin and Isabella de Arc. And you can see she has been the mother of Joan of Arc. Here you are also seeing the picture of Jacques de Arc, originally spelled Darc, was a farmer in a village of Domremy in Lorraine and the father of the French heroine and Catholic saint Jeanne d'Arc, usually Joan of Arc in English. So look at the pictures here. These are the parents of Joan of Arc. So John was given the holy task, as it has been said, and being strong and brave with a firm belief in God, she started to work in earnest. At first people laughed at her. Even her parents, friends of the family said she was insane. As you have seen all this, just walk in and tell him everything, Father. Here she is asking her father to meet French military governor Sir de Boudicourt. Everything, father, she pleaded Joan. Don't be afraid. I am sure he will believe all of you. Tell him. So Joan's father walked a few miles to the big house on the hill, persuaded the French sentry at the gate to let him in. I have important business with Sir de Boudicourt, he said. I have to see him immediately. When he stood in the presence of the Sir, his heart whirled and he trembled a little. The French officer looked so fierce, but he remembered Joan's words and taking a deep breath, he began. So as John had influenced the father to narrate all these incidents and meet the governor, that is Sir de Boudicourt, he gathered all his strength and started saying, Sir, he said, my daughter, Joan wants to come and talk to you. She has a plan to save the king and to save the France. The Sir smiled. How old is daughter, old man? He asked. So he was surprised to see a farmer telling that his daughter is going to save king and also the France. He asked, what is the age of your daughter? He said, 17, sir. And now, did she think of a plan? So he's asking, and how is that she think of this particular plan? Did she dream it? The Sir de Boudicourt laughed at his own joke and thumped the table. Did she learn a skill at arms in dream? He's asking. He's making fun of this man and asking him whether the daughter dreamt of helping him or whether she has been skilled as a soldier in the dream. No, sir. No, she saw an angel in the sky who told her to save the king, ride at the head of his army, and drive the English out of France. So innocently, That's the father of Joan of Arc tells that the daughter Joan of Arc could see or had or see the angel, and the angel had told her to do all this. So the sir laughed even more loudly. Go home, old man. I have work to do, and I can't be worried with such stories. But they are all true, sir, said the old man bravely. My daughter did see this angel. Heard his words. They are the words of God, sir. You have to believe them. So continuously, father of Jonah is requesting this body court, sir, to believe the words of him and to believe that his daughter Joan of Arc sees the angel. Go home, I said, shouted the officer. I'm getting tired of you and your daughter. Go home, take a strong stick and give your daughter a good thrashing. Then she may see some more visions. He laughed again. Go on, go home, beat your daughter. That's what she needs. You can see. This is how the man would react when they were shocked to hear that a girl, a simple girl, a farmer, could save the king and drive the Britishers out of France. Because they were never skilled, girls were never skilled in this particular art, so he thought it was a big joke, and he said, go and beat your daughter, teach her a lesson, so that even in the dream she should never remember these things. Then he called the sentry and had the old man taken out of the house and sent home. When Joan's father reached the village and told Joan what had happened, she was not at all dismayed. Don't worry, father, this was a quick reaction. Joan of Arc never gave up. She told father not to worry. She said, I shall go myself. God will give me the strength to pursue Sir de Bodycourt. He will give me a horse. I shall ride to King Charles. Do what I have to do. And do what I have to do. You can see she says she is very firm in meeting the Bodycourt, in getting a horse and a sword, and she is very much having the confidence, and she is going to meet King Charles. So you can see how comfortable she was, how confident Joan of Arc was about her ideas. She put on her best frock and set out for the house where the French officers were staying. I have come to see Sir de Bodycourt, she told the sentry at the gate. You can't, said the sentry, blocking her way with his spear. Anyway, what do you want? I want to talk to him, said Joan. And I shall sit here until you let me in. She sat down on the stone bench at the gate and looked at the sentry. He didn't like us staring at him, but he could not prevent her from sitting on the bench. You can see she was very firm. She always had a firmness in her ideas. She is asking the sentry to give her permission to meet the governor's Bodycourt. And they were all afraid of her stare, and he pretended not to notice her. After an hour or two, another sentry came on guard, but late in the afternoon, the first sentry came back on the duty again. I am still here, said Joan. You can see there was a change in the timing, and again the second one came. The first sentry again came back on the duty again. I am still here, Joan said. So I see, said the sentry, but you are not going in. You can sit there until you are 100 years old. You can't go in. You can see the sentry never gave her the permission. He said even he is also stubborn and is not going to allow her to meet the bodyguard. But he felt rather uncomfortable as Joan stared at him, and suddenly she spoke. Have you ever seen an angel? She asked. You can see how she used to question. So you can see the picture here. Says the body coat about him. Body coat can also mean Robert D. Bodycote, who helped Joan of Arc, or his son Jean D. Bodycote. Then Marshal France, Robert D. Bodycote was a Senior D. Bodycote, and you can see he was a minor figure in the 15th century. And this is the man who is going to play a very important role here. She started the conversation with the sentry and she is asking him whether he has seen the angel. Of course not, replied the sentry. There aren't any angels. There is no such thing as an angel. An angel spoke to me from heaven, said John. He told me to come here and see Sir D. Bodycote. You can see she's Joan of Arc had a great conversation with a sentry and she is discussing about the angel. She said, an angel spoke to me from heaven, said Joan. He told me not to come here and to see Sir D. Bodycote. She told him that angel has told to meet this Bodycote. The sentry laughed, but then he caught sight of Joan's face. Her eyes burned with fire. You can see she was very much firm with the ideas, and her eyes were burning with fire. And that moment, the rays of the setting sun fell across the courtyard and lit her up face with a golden light. She almost looked like an angel herself. The sentry's heart beat faster. He did not like Joan's eyes and he was little scared. So you see, I have to go into the Sir Scott's will. Joan stood up quickly, faced the sentry. Let me in, or God's wrath will be on your head. You can see how bold she was, very firm. She started saying that God has willed that she must meet Bodycote, and it is going to happen in spite of the sentry stopping her. She had a great confidence, so the sentry was shaken. The man was shaken, and he saw she was very confident. She almost looked like Angel herself. The sentry was now really frightened. He made one last attempt to keep the girl out, but she brushed aside his spear and strode through the door, up the steps, along the stone floored corridor, up some more steps. Then Joan came to a huge doorway of stone with a thick door of dark wood. It was shut. She listened for a moment, put her ear to the door. She could hear the clink of glasses. There were many more men there, and the voices of the officers. They were drinking and having their dinner. She said a silent prayer, lifted her head high, and opened the door. So this is how she met Sir Bodycote. You can see how she reacts, and you are going to notice the conversation. So you can see she wanted to make this King Charles the 7th of France as a king. You can notice the details about him here. However, his political and military position improved dramatically with the emergence of Joan of Arc as a spiritual leader in France. Joan of Arc and other charismatic figures led French troops to lift the siege of Orleans as well as other strategic cities on the Loire River and to crush the English at the Battle of Pétain. You can see it is for this king Joan just fights. We are going to see a lot more about more details about Charles the Seventh and how Joan of Arc tries her best to make him a king. Okay, thank you.